Good afternoon, folks. Dave Santarelli here. It's nearly 7:30 p.m. on Monday, April 11th, and I just got done eating dinner, and I came into my office here, and I had a message from one of the members, and they were telling me that they jumped in and bought Nugget right before the close. They got the 85 strike call for April 29th expiration. Now, I need to show you something here because this does not make sense to me why someone would do this. All right, let's go down here. They got the 85 strike for $10 a contract. So we see right here that the 85 strike is between $970 and $1030 per contract, which is between $970 and $1,030 per contract. They got it for $10 per contract. So let's look at this here. I'm going to explain this very simply for members. All right, so now I'd like you guys to get a pen and paper here and write this down. This is a basic call option that I'm going to go over. All right, we have the strike price of 85. We're paying $10 per contract for this strike. So get that piece of paper, a pencil, and write down 85 plus 10. Okay, now that is what you need the stock to be at just to break even. So just to break even, you need this stock to be at $95. Okay, and that's just your break even point. Now right below that, write down plus another 10. That means 95 plus 10, we need it to be at $105 just to have a double. Okay? Now, and that's only within the next week and a half, 2 weeks. Okay? The expiration is April 29th. So we see here that the premiums going for these strikes, they're very high, which means there's a high implied volatility. All right, now this is what I always say about looking for the best trade. You know, you don't just go out and you buy a call. A lot of members do that. They see my trades and they'll just go out and buy a call instead of buying whatever position it is I have. But that's not always the right thing to do, and that's not going to always work. You know, if you go out and buy a call and I go out and do the call spread, you might have a losing trade when I have a winning trade that just made over 200%. And let me show you why. Okay, so with this just straight out call here, you need the stock to be at $95 to break even and $105 to have 100% gain. Now let's go to a spread here for the same stock, the same expiration date, and same call. But we're going to do a call spread. Now you've seen with just the call, you need the stock to be at $105 to have a double. Let's look at this. Check this out. Okay, we're going to buy to open the 75 strike. This is one thing that's really cool when you have a stock that has high implied volatility. Okay, so we buy the 75, we sell the 80. Look at this now. Midpoint is $2.15. Now, that's anywhere between the bid here of 30 cents and the ask of $4. That's how it comes up with that midpoint of $2.15. So I might have to pay $2.40 for that, which, hey, that's not bad. And you have to understand here, the max we're going to make on this spread is the difference between this strike, the 75, and the 80 strike, which is $5 minus what we paid. So just to make this easy and simple for everyone here, let's say this costed us $2.50. So that means $5 minus $2.50. That means our net gain is going to be $2.50. That's a 100% gain. And we only need the stock to be at $80 by April 29th to make that 100% gain. Remember that straight out call? You needed the stock to be at $105 to make 100% gain. With this spread here, the stock could drop 5 points and we still make 100% gain. Whereas the call, you need the stock to go up 20 bucks, 20 points to make that 100% gain. You know, so you always have to look at this and see what makes more sense here. And let me even break this down a little bit further for you guys who don't understand how a spread works. Okay, so the order type here, buy to open. That means we're buying the 75 strike call at whatever price is over here, somewhere between the bid and the ask. And you guys always ask me about why our spreads aren't showing the maximum gain. Now, this is something that's very, very important I want to actually talk about. Okay, you asked me, hey Dave, the VRX 28 call and 2850 call spread that we have right now, the stock's above $28.50, so we have our maximum gain, yet why isn't it showing it in our account right now? And that's very simple. Because do you see the bid and the ask here? You see it here on this spread I have. 75 strike call and the 80 strike call. 75 strike call has a bid of between $13.30 and $15.90. Whereas the 80 strike call has a spread of between $11.90 and $13. That's a big freaking spread there. That's over a $2.60 spread for the 75 strike. That's huge. That's massive. So as we have the April 29th expiration here, if Nugget goes up another $10 tomorrow, the 75 strike is going to go higher and the 80 strike is going to go higher. So you see how, it's not just one that's going higher, it's both strikes that are going higher as the stock goes higher. So you have to understand that you're not going to see these numbers get smaller between the bid and the ask, and you're not going to see their true value until you get closer to expiration date. And then you're going to see your maximum gain in your portfolio. Okay, so back to this. We're buying to open the 75 strike. That means you're purchasing the strike at 75. So that means as long as Nugget's above 75, you're going to buy this. So if, let's say, for example, Nugget's at $79. That means this strike right here is going to be worth 79 minus 75, $4. Okay, so that's how that works. And then this one, we're selling someone the 80 strike. Okay, so let's make this very simple here. We buy the 75 strike call. Okay, so this is saying we own the stock at $75. Okay, now when we sell to open this call for the same expiration date, we're selling someone our shares that we own at 75 for 80. So no matter what the stock is at, as long as it's above 80, we're making that 5-point difference. It's just like buying the stock at $75 and selling it at $80. The only difference here is if Nugget's at $80 or whether it's at $200. The max we're going to make is the difference between these two strikes minus what we paid for it. So here again, $5 difference between the two strikes minus what we paid for it. I'm giving an example of $2.50 per contract we paid. Here it shows a little less. But, so you're going to have a 100% gain here as long as Nugget's above $80. Whereas the regular call here, you need it to be at 85 plus $10 if you got it at 10. So it needs to be at 95 just to break even, and then another $10 to have a double. So it needs to be at $105 for you to have a 100% gain for this, just a straight out call. So you see here, a straight out call, it needs to be at $105 for you to make a 100% gain. Whereas the call spread here, if we got the 75 strike and sold the 80 strike, it only needs to be at $80 or higher for us to make that same 100% gain. So I hope you see this and understand this now. Now, the reason why I would say do not buy the straight out call here is very simple. The implied volatility is extremely high. Now let's look at a stock that's somewhere around the same range of what this cost. Okay, let's look at Target, for example. Okay, Target's only $5 cheaper than this. Okay, you see 85. Now this one's above 85. The 85 strike, it's $10 a contract. Now let's look at Target. Same expiration date. Let's go with the 80 strike. 80 strike, cost $1. We could get it for $1.20, $1.25 a contract. So much cheaper than Nugget. Yet, what the difference here is Nugget has a higher implied volatility because it's having large daily swings compared to Target. Target's not a big mover. It's a big blue chip stock, but it has relatively small price movement. So we don't see a high implied volatility here. Let's go back to Nugget. So now you see why it makes sense to go with the, sometimes when it makes sense to go with the call versus the call spread or vice versa. Because you see here, if you buy the call, if I make the trade that I'm getting the call spread for Nugget, for the 75/80 call spread, and Nugget's at, let's say, $85 a share at expiration date, and you went with that 85 strike call, you lost money while I made 100% gain. Because you needed the stock to be at $95 to break even and $105 to make a double, whereas my trade just needed to be at $80 for me to make a double. So the trade you picked just lost money. The trade I picked on the same stock in basically the same type of trade, it's just I had a spread, you had the call, and I made the 100% gain while you lost the money. So you have to really look at your choices and the types of trades you can make and understand them and see what's best to go with. So I hope this was fairly simple for you guys to understand. And like I said, I just got done eating dinner here, so I'm hoping to make a few more videos tonight. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me or make a comment, post a comment in one of my posts in the group, and I'll get to it. All right, have a great night, guys, and take care. And if there's anything else you need help on, feel free to ask.